started doing research and figuring it out compared to just like not doing it. So I was always don't have bad credit, don't have bad credit, don't have bad credit. It was
Right.
just everything else that I didn't learn.
Did you learn the inner workings of not having bad credit?
I did because it was something that I researched.
Okay.
So like for me, I was like, I'm gonna always pay my bills
Okay.
and not pay stuff late. So when I got my checks from in college, like your check,
Hmm.
I used to pay off all my bills because I didn't like bills.
Okay.
So I was like, if I pay up all my bills, I don't have a choice but to have good credit because I paid up everything compared to not paying anything and just like splurging. I didn't get bad. I got bad credit for a minute, but that was because I wasn't taught anything about loans from
Okay.
college. And I was like, but I ain't got no money to pay in 6 months.
Right.
So how am I going to pay? So that's when mine went down. But if it wasn't for that, it would still have been good. But it took me time to fix that.
Hmm. Blue, what did you not know about finances that you learned as an adult that you should have known as a child?
I ain't learned nothing as a child. Like my parents, they must have forgot. No, actually, I stayed by myself since I was 17. I didn't stay with my parents, so I was into the streets, and I ain't realized credit until I couldn't get none when I tried.
Okay.
But that credit 5.9
But you think about like how much time it takes
a
because
long
who
time.
was making games or what black people did we know that were having conversations with us about money and about finances? I don't know anybody, but now it seems to be like the topic of conversation. Well, like we have these conversations about money and finances so openly now. Like I still ain't with that. I don't really need you to know all my financial business. However, we are more comfortable having these conversations now. So what made you say a game as opposed to like a workshop for adults?
I think I was at home in the bed or something.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, what better way to learn than through a game? Because I still don't remember how it happened. I just know one day I was like, I'm gonna do it. And then I went to Dollar General and
Mhm.
I still have the cards now.
That you
I went to
started with.
Oh yeah. I still have them with the dice and everything. I went and I got cards and then I called on my friends like, let's have game night. And everybody came over and we went through it and we were trying to figure it out. And I'm glad I met with people with kids because this game was going to be really bad for kids.
Oh, okay.
Because I
Okay.
think about everything, but you can't do everything even though they're kids.
Gotcha.
So
Tiff, what I know you are into finances and into money as well. Like what is what are one of the topics or something that you didn't know about that you learned about?
I didn't know how to I guess invest it. So my dad would tell me like different little scenarios to do when I got my student loans, different ways to flip it. But I didn't know. I guess I didn't understand then what he was trying to teach me about investing the money because I was taught like everybody else was single parent to save it. So I was taught to save
Mhm.
and to pay my bills on time. And I think I was kind of taught about credit a little bit, but not about like definitely not about student loans and how it affects your credit. But that was it. Um, saving the credit and learning how to invest. That's all I really learned
so did saving help you learn how to invest?
about it.
Are you glad that you learned one before the other?
Uh, no, I wish I kind of learned the to making the money work for me
Mhm.
opposed to the saving. Because honestly, when I think back, I didn't really save. I mean, like I was saving, but it wasn't like making an impact.
And then I was gonna say the same thing. Like I
Yeah.
think like saving is okay. I got it so that when I need it, I can spend it. It's not saving that you don't touch. It's
Yeah.
savings that like I got some money. This is what it's for to have when I need it, right?
Right.
So like learning how to save, how to spend. Eddie, what are you thinking about as far as what you just have learned about money or business or finances or any of that investing that you didn't know that now you've learned?
You know what? I was originally first introduced to this, the idea from Baby Boy, from the Guns and Butter speech that Ving
Oh,
Rhames gave. He was
really?
basically
Okay.
talking about how guns are the stocks and the bonds and the things that appreciate with value, and the butter is like you selling clothes out the back of this little van and it depreciate. And I ain't really know what that he was talking about, but like now that I'm getting into stocks and bonds and mutual funds and all of these different things that make your money make you money without you doing anything, a lot of stuff just starting to come to make sense because it's little stuff you've heard over time. It's hard to not hear this stuff in movies, you know.
Right.
But like I ain't learned anything from my family. My mama had me co-sign a loan when I was because she
Well, I
didn't
had
understand anything about money. You know, she was just like they giving away free money, then get that free money. You know, so like I'm trying to catch up with decisions I made that based on the family that I came from that didn't know anything. But now that I'm seeing stocks and all this stuff going up, it's it's just making me want to be aware that like there's crumbs for us to grab out here that we don't have to do too much to get it. Just but the negative part of it is just so the ultra rich can have this system to stay ultra rich. I mean, we get to grab something from the bottom of it, but like it's a lot to accept about a problematic system, which was exposed during the GameStop thing. Okay, the people down here figured out how to get a whole bunch of money from the GameStop system going up a big pump, and then after that, the people who make the big money was like, we got to change the rules now.
And it happened in front of us. So Tae, like when you hear stuff like that, and you're kids are playing the games and the families are playing together, how are the lessons taught within the game? Because you just heard what we said, which is I think everybody's story. Nobody really we didn't sit around and play Monopoly and really talk about real life. We played Monopoly and we won Monopoly money.
Right, but this game is real life. It has real life scenarios and things that actually happen. So every card that's in the game has happened to somebody I know or somebody they know. Nothing is made up.
Open the box. Let's get to
It's
it.
It's a nice box.
So this is like the box, and it comes with 3 cards. It comes with an income card, which is blue. It comes with I was trying to listen. I couldn't hear what he was saying.
Yeah.
It comes with a debt card, which is red because debt is associated in red.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes with a green card that is wealth, which is associated in green.
Okay.
Then you also have 2 dice. One is red, one is green. Guess where the green goes with?
Money.
Yeah, wealth. And guess where the red goes? Debt. So on the actual blue cards, it gives you definition. So it shows you the difference between net wealth and discretionary income.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people don't know what that is.
Right. What is that?
Most people think that when you go to work and you make $10 an hour, what you gonna bring home?
but they think like if you work 8 hours, $80.
Yeah, but that's not really the case. That's what you make before. So the question is, what do you make after? So we give definitions for them to see.
Okay.
And then you have your discretionary income, which is what you make after expenses. Because people say, oh, I'm going to take this money home and this is what I make, but you forgot that you have to pay all these bills. So it just really depends on your situation. So we make sure we have definitions on a lot of the cards so you can understand it, and it's something that you see all the time and not just once.
Gotcha. So I see Sin is in, and also Courtney has joined with baby Tegan down there. Like, Courtney, I know that we talk about, growing and building often, but we also talked about how a lot of things or when it comes to money and building and business and stuff like that, how we didn't have those conversations with our parents. We saw them doing things and growing, but we didn't know what was happening. What is something that you wish you would have known then that you learned either the hard way or you just learned really late?
Honestly, you know what? I'm not mad at them for not teaching me more. The way that I move with my money is very different than what my parents can comprehend. So I'm like, we did life. We did it within our means. I think I had an understanding of being able to do things and then having to create ways to make things happen if the regular income wasn't sufficient. And so I just knew that I just knew that I had to go get it. Right. So like the mentality in making sure that I had the work ethic, like that's what I felt like they gave me what they could. So again, at this day and age, I know that it sounds like a lot, but yeah, the way finances are set up now, again, it's not the same.
Okay.
They probably taught us what they knew.
Yeah, what they
taught us what they knew. Absolutely.
And what we needed to know. You don't really need to
Absolutely.
know all of the details of like how I get my money, what we spend our money on. What you do need to know though is that when you get a couple dollars, you need to save them.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
savings first.
Okay.
People say you should invest first, and I don't agree with that. I think you should save first because if
Okay.
you don't know how to save money, if you invest money, you're still gonna lose it.
All right. So Tay, like, people are gonna want this game now because the conversation is shifting. Parents are learning and wanting to have the conversation with their children about how to make money, how to save money, how to invest, and every credit, all of that. The conversations are happening now. So how can they get the game?
They can go to our website, gameoffortune.money. It's
Game of
dot
Fortune
money,
dot money.
not dot com. It's dot money. And then on April 24th, we're having an actual game launch event where you can come out and play the game. We'll have speakers, we'll have giveaways, we'll have light refreshments. And then you
Light.
can light. And then you can also test out the app that we'll have.
Okay. Miss Mentor says I had to learn the hard way about credit, but I made sure my children knew everything about credit. And now my children have 800 credit scores. Okay, then, Miss Mentor.
That's good though, because you can teach a child. Don't mean they're gonna respect it. But I'd rather know than not know than have to figure it out on my own.
Right, right. Like I think a lot of times we do know things like this, but still get in the we get in a situation to where we can do it, so we do it. Like I messed my credit up for the first time. Well, the only time that it was messed up was in college. Like I had the opportunity to apply for cars with nobody to tell me not to, and I did. And I went shopping a lot. And like you said, when it was time to pay them off, I'm like, well,
What I do now?
oh yeah, yeah, okay.
I used to be the bad
Okay.
person because I used to work for the credit card company. I used to call on my friends and be like, "Y'all come get this pizza."
Exactly.
But then I
Or a
didn't,
T-shirt,
I was
right?
just like, yeah, we're gonna work on it though. But I still have that card.
Oh.
No, I don't have it, but
I
still have that T-shirt.
I still have my card from college.
Really? Okay.
I still
Capital
have it.
One.
Oh yeah, that's Bay. You know Capital One Bay. Capital One gonna get everybody a credit card.
Man, so
Your
yeah,
credit,
that's
your
what it
credit score
was.
got to be a negative 250 for them not to give you a credit card.
That's
They
what
may
it
give you a
was.
credit card. It's gonna be $150, but they're gonna give you one in order for you to build your way up.
Man, so that's what it was. So now we know better. So since we know better, we do better. And the game is for sale. Tay, you do this. You do these type conversations often. It's not just the game that you do. This is what you do for a living.
Yes.
So people want to be able to have a conversation with you about financial literacy. How can they contact you?
They can always go to our website, nevergobroke.money.
Nevergobroke.money. And we'll save that for later on in the show as well so that you all can have Tay's information. Anything you want to leave with the listeners and viewers about the new game that's out or about finances or about the month of April or anything?
Well, April is Financial Literacy Month, and even though it's just for this month, you should work towards always learning something. It doesn't have to be everything. Don't let people make you feel bad because you don't know as much as they do. Just take it one day at a time, one step at a time, and know that it is a process. Nothing is going to happen overnight. You're not going to fix your whole life in 2 months. It may take a year, or it may take 2 years, but as long as you keep pushing forward, you can do it.
All right.
And then while you're doing it, go buy the game.
Okay.
Because it's super, super fun. Like we have a lot of fun aspects in it. Like
Where
it's
we
fun.
buy?
You can play with family.
We gotta know where we buy it.
Gameoffortune.money.
So once again, Game of
okay.
Fortune. Where you been?
You was over there asleep. I thought I was asleep, but you was really asleep.
I was like,
but yeah, you can always buy that Gameoffortune.money. It's a great game to play. You'll have fun. You'll learn, but it's different aspects in it that make it fun. Like you can take another player's money. You can borrow money from another player.
Okay.
You can make choices. You have chances to take. So it's a lot of different things in it that you can play and you can understand. Because like I said, it's all a process. And know that the game is played in 12 rounds. So y'all know why?
Why?
Because it's 12 months in a year.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So it's 12 months in a year. So you play the game in 12 rounds.
So as you were thinking this up, did you have help or was it just you like you woke up and came up with this game? Because there's
So
a lot of that's intricate.
I woke up and was like, we're gonna do it. But I've had so many people help me with it. Because like I said, I would tell everybody to come to my house and we would sit around the table and we would play and we would change it. Then I met with like financial experts and they went through it too. And then we tested for like a year. So it's like been a ongoing process.
Gotcha.
It's not just all me, like not all me at all. Cause I could never do this by myself. Like it's literally, I could name all of them and y'all would be like, oh.
Like, okay, but that's what it takes.
Yeah.
It takes the village to make it make sense. And a lot of people are learning about money or have known about money or are coming into money. So what better time than now? Tegan, you ready to play the game? That's my baby panelist. What is she
How
ready,
many
Courtney?
how many people can play the game
She
at
look like
once?
she gonna eat the game.
And that part, look.
People can play. So originally we started at like 10, but it never ended.
Oh, okay.
So we went down to 6.
Yeah.
So 6 is a good number of people to play the game. You can play by yourself, but if you just want to like go through the cards and just learn some of the definitions and what they mean, but it needs to be played with 2 or more people. But 6 is a good number of people. It can take about an hour because you have cards to pull with the dice. So the dice, whatever number you roll on dice, 1, 2, or 3, that's what you will pull from the cards. Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Hey,
So it's pretty good.
One more time, where they can get the game, even how much it is, how they can find you, all of your contact information.
Okay, so you can buy the game at gameoffortune.money. The game is $49.97. Our event is April 24th from 1 to 4 at the Dannon Project downtown. Our website is nevergobroke.money. Get the game, play it, have fun. If you love it, let us know. If you hate it, let us know, because that's the only way we can improve.
Right. Okay. Awesome. So shouts out to you and the team for helping us to never go broke. We're looking forward to playing the game, buying the game, supporting the game, and teaching our children about finances. That's exciting for me. My daughter now works with me. She's my business partner, and I think she's gonna do a pretty good job. But this will be good because there are a lot of things about money that I'm not versed in money. I'm not versed in credit. So that would be awesome to play the game with her and some of her friends and see how that pops off. So we'll be looking forward to diving in. Anything else for Tae Lee, you guys?
Shimon.
I like the game. I like the box. Like it's very neat, and it looks good.
It really does.
Yeah, I mean,
real deal.
Yeah, like they got to shine it, and it's firm. It's not flimsy.
Show your people, Blue.
You know, I'm one of them black folk that like to touch it and feel it. If it don't look good or feel good, I ain't trying to
I don't
mess
want
with
it. Right. All right.
Yeah, but this is very nice. This is awesome.
So make sure y'all get it fun for ages 10 and up. So adults, you can get it and put it into your game night. Y'all know we love a good game night. Maybe add another component to it, but whatever.
You can't play this game while you're having game night and drinks.
And that's what I'm saying. Like you just add the components.
You could add all kind of
it's math heavy.
Oh,
it's math heavy.
Lord.
So
now that'll be a funny game night, boy.
You be trying to figure out the numbers, but it's
like
math heavy because it deals like real life deals with numbers, right?
Yeah,
in real life you gotta pay bills.
I just call you Tae. Look, baby, we trying to have a party.
I don't think you should play it with drinks, but
yeah,
I mean you can. It just depends on how much.
It'll be entertaining, I'm sure, with somebody.
Yeah,
like just take the money and pay the bill.
Right, and it's like, oh, so you make 8,000, I make 3. Run me that. Run me that check.
I'm excited. Kimberly Meadows Clark. Hey sis, she says I see Walmart and Target in her future. That's what's up. So that's what we're looking for. This is very vital and an amazing adventure. So we are behind you 100%, Tae. We look to hear from you again very soon about the progress of the game and after the event. I'll post the information on our page later on in the show. Coming up, we're gonna talk to an attorney. Y'all, anybody got any legal woes or anything? Okay, so stay where you are. We're gonna dive into that conversation in just a few minutes right here on B94.9 WATV, where the V stands for vital. All right, guys, for those of you who are watching online, you stay with us about 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and then we're going to get into the second half of the first hour.
Courtney.
Hey, Brother Blue.
What's happening with you? That baby's so pretty.
Oh, thank you.
Like her daddy.
Thank you, Blue.
What up, Ready Eddie?
Jeter, I just came back to life.
What's good, Blue?
Eddie, you still in them woods that you ain't supposed to be in?
It was.
Yeah, man.
It was rough.
I'm trying to get used to it. Woo. Just know if y'all come out to Hawaii, people gonna expect you to hike. So bring the right shoes.
I ain't hiking it. I ain't with no unplanned accident.
It was probably about 3 hours.
It's hikes out here that got signs on
Girl,
them, so you might die.
Bust a can of biscuits when I try to get up at that time. Girl.
Yeah, negative, sir.
I just don't even know.
local. And then I put one on yesterday, and when I say, man, what are we gonna do with this one? She had to hold it at the top. I had to hold it at the bottom. Wasn't about two.
I bought the sweatband thing too. So we gonna. I might try that when I work out. But that everyday thing, I'm trying to find the highest bidder.
Hey there, Jermaine.
I can't hear y'all. I'm getting old or something. I just hear Benny.
Hey, how you doing?
All right. What's up, man?
I wish my baby was still that little. Yeah, I do.
I can't wait till she
She
starts.
took her pants
talking.
off. They was in the toilet. She going to school tomorrow. She's the one.
Hey, Naomi.
Man, wait till you get my children. CJ got a scar on his face. What happened to your face? McKenna pushed me into the fence. My mama asked him, what happened to your face? I pushed him into the fence. I was like, you bragging about it.
How are your kids?
5 and 6.
Oh, they're fine.
I got grown children.
I like them. I like them when they get like
12.
I like them at 20, but I take them at like I like them at like.
You got kids?
No.
Oh.
I'm the greatest auntie ever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what. Oh.
That was last night.
I always wear leopard.
Young dude.
Because I'm the greatest auntie ever.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm leopard. My life is leopard.
I don't know what they doing.
I'm a great auntie.
I don't know what I was thinking to start over. But I love them. They just bad.
You got some older?
20 and 22.
Oh, you was in love.
I mean, I'm 43.
So you was in love.
What happened?
You was in love.
Oh no, I got married.
So you was in love.
My wife young.
I said you was in love. He said no, I got married.
No, I'm just saying my wife. I got married. I thought you meant like, you know.
No, I was saying. So you was like, I don't know what I was thinking starting over. I was saying you were in love. No.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a very tricky sounding question. I'm glad we ain't lying. I'd have been in trouble.
What is doing?
I'm gonna be like, what?
What is she doing to her?
Can the live folks hear us on there? Oh, I'm about to say, oh geez.
Oh, they can't hear you on it?
Not Facebook, just the people in there. Okay. That's pretty weird, a yoni party. I mean, a bunch of girls going to get the coochie steam. That's weird.
Do they need a person to help check in? I can help with that.
That's weird, but I mean, I'm just thinking all the. Oh no. You heard that, Eddie? They got a girls' night out.
B94.9 WATV, where the V stands for vital. It's a radio studio. Y'all have to like really be careful what you say because the mic can always be hot. All right. Vital turns 13 today, so it may be a little risky. Teenagers, you know, they do and say whatever they please. And we have been doing this for 13 years. 13 years. Courtney, how long have you been on?
Which one?
Huh?
You
Me, Courtney, or Gita Courtney? Oh, me,
Oh.
Counsel Courtney. I think this is year 3.
Okay.
It came.
Same time. Okay. Eddie, how long has it been for you?
For me, it's been about almost 2 years, right?
I never know. Is that right?
It's been almost
that's about right, because you were visiting when within my first year, and then like officially crew. I think so I would say year 2, maybe a little bit ish more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Around there.
The real Jermaine Johnson is in now. Cynthia is back. How long has it been for you guys? Like, what is that?
Right now.
Yeah, like you be in and out. You
Today.
been, but then you started like at one point some years ago.
Yeah, I did.
I thought so. Okay, saying this about 2 shows for you.
It's like 2-3 weeks.
That's
About
it.
250, 2.5.
Yeah.
Tiffany, what about you? It's about 3 shows.
I used to come off and on.
Okay, like it was a minute. It was a five, maybe.
You know
So
what?
it's been
Woo?
a minute. What, Eddie?
Almost 3 years.
Okay, that
But
makes
then he
sense.
got
Yeah.
before.
You invited me June 8th, 2018.
Whoa, June 8th. Look at him know.
That's it.
Boy got a
Eddie
journal
just
on
make
it.
Eddie just that's why he ready. Eddie, he make everybody look bad. Around him.
Hey, look, keep your messenger conversations. Just scroll down to the very beginning and you got it.
This is true. Okay, so
Eddie,
it's
we
been
don't
a
be keeping no
minute.
conversation. We delete.
Mhm.
Delete.
Screenshot delete.
Keep that.
Okay, so let's keep it moving. I'm just happy to have you guys here and with me on this journey. It's amazing that we've gone this long. In the summertime, springtime, we be out here in these streets. So it's really just I'm just happy to see you guys with us tonight because this is like one of the first beautiful nights of the season. Mute your mics. All right, there we go. One of the most beautiful nights of the season. So this is how it gets started in the summertime and springtime, where we get these shows, we get them in, we get out because we want to be out there where you are. So we're on our way. But before we do any of that, we have to make sure that we're not getting in any trouble. And we have an attorney in here that may be able to help us if we have been in some, and just somebody to know. You may just need somebody on standby. So from Maxwell and Tillman Law Firm, we have attorney Tillman, Ontario Tillman. How are
Yes,
you?
ma'am. I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm amazing. So let me let them see who we're talking to because people. There you go. I'll let you get my camera right now. So Maxwell and Tillman, and I know we were having a whole conversation about like, well, yeah, that's my last name, but that's his first name. But so you're a partnership. You're in a
Yes,
partnership
we're a
with another lawyer.
partnership.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's criminal law.
Yes, well, we do criminal law, really a wide range.
Mm-hmm.
We do criminal law, personal injury, as well as civil rights claims.
Civil rights.
Yeah.
Let's start there because that's what we hear a lot about. Everybody name the civil rights attorneys that you know.
Not that many,
Right.
but we do handle those claims.
So
But,
I need you to do this. Define civil rights. With
Well-
a civil rights attorney.
well, it's not necessarily well. First, with law, you do have different practice areas,
Right.
and you may have an attorney who may practice in the area more often. For example, my primary practice is in criminal law.
Gotcha.
So I'm more of a criminal defense attorney. My partner, Leroy Maxwell, he handles primarily most of the civil rights claims.
Okay.
So we kind of it's a good balance. It's a good mix.
And see where I was going at before I came here. One of my frat brothers had sent me a message saying I need a big hitter because somebody he had experience where he was embarrassed at a restaurant by a person profile.
Yeah.
So when I think about stuff like that, like is that a civil rights situation?
Yeah, you may look at like a discrimination claim, different
Okay.
things of that nature. So
How concrete? I got some questions. How concrete does discrimination have to be in order for it to get in court or for you or y'all to take it?
it's very difficult. It is.
Yeah.
It's certain standards that you have to meet beforehand. So without knowing very much about the case, those are questions that would be better served him coming into the office, talking about the issue, and then we going through the process that way.
So it has to be. It had so discrimination just can't be because I felt discriminated.
No,
it has
it
to
has to be
actually.
standard because you do have categories: race, gender, creed, sexuality, different things of that nature.
Gotcha.
Blue went straight in. So you
When
hey.
he
So
said
do you
civil,
have anything where it just doesn't make sense and people come in?
Oh yeah, we have that a lot.
So like, what's
but-
the worst you've heard?
Well, criminal situation or
Yeah, like a criminal thing with civil rights that didn't make any sense.
oh man.
Oh
Let me
God,
see.
I'm
I
sorry.
gotta
Don't worry
think
about it.
about
Like, I don't wanna say that.
Yeah, because we do have weird situations because everyone feels as though that they're being mistreated or discriminated against. That doesn't mean that it's a legal standard. Doesn't meet the legal standard of it. Because a person don't like it, they just don't like it. That's a feeling, that's an emotion. So that's a little different when you actually have actual practices where you're at work and you're the only black person that working in the company, and everyone else is being promoted around you. They're white. You may have a advanced degree, more experience. Now that's a different situation.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
So it has to be something more concrete than, hey, he just don't like me.
Right.
You know,
Like,
it's a
come on,
different
man.
story. Yeah.
Like they had to have done something. So tell us how about you. Like, how did you get into the field of law? Like, what made you say that's what I want to do, and this is the kind that I want to do?
Well, first, I'm from Bessemer, Alabama. So,
What
growing
part of
up
Bill?
right from the South Side,
Sounds okay.
you already know,
Where's
right from the
that?
South Side.
Where's the south side of Bessemer?
If you're not familiar with, it's over there, Clariton.
Over
It's a
there.
lot. Yeah, it's a lot of different
Dartmouth
areas.
and all that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Dartmouth, Clariton, Hard School, Brick Hill.
Mhm.
It's a lot of different those
Just
areas.
want you to break it down.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Bama.
Okay.
So that's where that's where I was born and raised.
Okay.
And being familiar with the court system
Mhm.
in a different manner. When I went to court and I saw friends, family members, I'm like, hell, I can do that.
Right.
So I wanted to be the representation that I felt as though they should have.
That's what's up.
So I wanted to be the person to stand there with you and make sure we go through this process together.
Okay.
So
So went to law school and then
yes,
said, I want to represent the people that look like me in
yes,
a manner that they understand and that these courts understand. This is what it needs to look like.
yes.
So how long have you been practicing?
Been practicing since 2012, so
Okay.
right at 9 years.
Okay. All right. Any cases that stand out right now that you wish that you could be working? Like, if I was doing that, I would have said this. I would have done this. Any of those?
Not necessarily, because a lot of the cases that you see now, uh, for example, with the George Floyd situation,
Mm-hmm.
that's a prosecutor. I'm the guy on the other side of the table, which is the criminal defense attorney. Which in those situations, I definitely would not want to take those type cases. So
So that leads me to this question.
mhm,
So I know that down at the courthouse,
mhm,
they have a list.
yes,
So when people can't afford a attorney and want to be pointed to you,
yes,
they go down a list and basically pull a random attorney's name and assign them to different cases.
yes.
What happens? Do you have the right to recuse if a case, like say, for instance, somebody raped 5 children? Do you have a right to say I can't do that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Now, what you're saying used to be the case, but now we do have a public defender's office
Oh,
who
okay,
actually represent the indigent clients, or the people who cannot afford to hire a private attorney like myself.
gotcha,
But of course, you can recuse yourself from any situation that you don't feel comfortable with doing.
gotcha. Okay, I mean, I can see here. I got so many questions. I mean, I just think it's just so like sometimes I see like discrimination. I see big corporations taking advantages of small businesses. And I
Mhm.
be like, man, I really want to go to law school just to fight them, just to shake their coattail. It ain't even about winning. It's just about checking them, saying what you're doing is wrong.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to find people in Alabama and Birmingham that take on those kind of cases where it might be more of an uphill battle.
Oh yeah.
To just like, my wife and I, we got a situation. I'm like, I want to get an attorney, but I'm like, I don't really want to waste my time because I know ain't nobody gonna take it because you would have to really fight to push this issue that we're dealing with. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
And so we just kind of just say we'll just keep praying about it and it'll change. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But it's just I be wanting attorneys to just like speak up for stuff like more around here and just like and just like we weren't talking earlier, but Courtney and I was talking earlier about this particular judge here that's catching a lot of flack
Yeah.
for literally standing out and speaking up for what's right.
Mhm.
um and so she's being attacked, and I've witnessed her. I've witnessed guys in her courtroom say they're gonna plead guilty, and she would go beyond to explain them what pleading guilty means, what that means about your rights, how it means that you can't appeal. Like she went through the whole gamut before she just allowed them to
To
plead
plead guilty.
guilty.
And that's why representation matters. Like, I
Yes,
want you to be informed and I want you to know what this is. I like trust me enough, not just because we can't folk, but because I am in this position to be able to tell you. And
Mhm.
that's basically what put you in your position. Like, hey, I'm here for you. So if you
And
want to get him, the information is on our live right now. You can pull it up. 216 205 216 3304 option 6.
Five.
That
Yeah.
ain't no 5.
Yeah, well, I'm left-handed.
So. Oh, okay. Okay.
may not look like
he got on the
6.
blue wristband, so that's why the numbers off.
Oh, okay.
That's why the numbers off. He picked the wrong year.
It was a good year.
So we'll edit that. We'll make sure we make the change. It's option 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
I apologize for my bad handwriting.
No problem.
I should have been a doctor.
It's
probably.
okay.
Should have been a Q.
It's okay. It's okay. I got you. So when you think about what you're seeing as far as like I guess how law is impacting young people.
Yes.
And how okay, so let's just be real. All of us just saw like the worst example of incriminating yourself ever a few weeks ago. Like the worst.
Yes.
Like
what was your reaction watching it?
Man,
basically.
Like tell us, be real. What was your reaction?
The best advice you can ever give anyone is not to talk.
You got it right.
I don't really understand that.
You got it
because
right.
Because you know, like the show First 48. I hate it. Because they talk.
They talk.
You wouldn't have a show if everybody shut up.
Man.
It's simple as that. But for some reason, when that pressure gets you now, they swear they hard.
Mm-hmm.
But when that pressure comes,
them 4 corners,
they start running their mouth.
But you talk about not talking though. It's not talking because that's another part of the problem too though. Like when we don't tell or when we don't do whatever. Like let's clear up what that means about not talking.
Yeah. Now
telling
I'm gonna
just say that
self-incrimination.
Yeah.
But I understand what you're saying. That's why they're not snitching when you see stuff happen in your neighborhood. Now, of course, in those situations, you should, because the gun violence that's going on right now, it absolutely needs to stop.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. It's flat out stupid, but it needs to stop. Now, when it comes to self-incriminating, if you are a potential suspect or defendant, now you shouldn't talk.
Okay.
If they come and they ask you questions, they're not your friends. They're not trying to, ask you about your day. They're trying to get information.
So that's when you need your attorney.
Yes, you ask for your attorney. Just be quiet.
Hey, as soon as you ask for an attorney, the questioning stop. It's
Everything
supposed
stops.
to stop.
Everything stops.
And I watched for the first 40. I'm like, man, they don't even have evidence. They need 2 things.
Okay.
To admit and put yourself on at the scene.
Yes.
They get those 2, they got you.
So it's nothing wrong with I'm all about what's vital and what makes sense. It's nothing wrong with us saying, hey, you may have done something. You may have done it and not understand what you did. But what we're saying right now is to wait until you have someone to help you understand how to better speak on what you did.
Yeah, absolutely. Because those officers are trained. Those detectives are trained to elicit certain responses from you. You may not have done it, but the way you answer the question, it's a possibility that you have. So now you're putting yourself in the legal system now. So it's best to not talk. Don't say anything. Just ask for your attorney, and everything we'll take care of it.
I got a tough question. You want it?
Yeah. What is it?
Okay, so being a defense attorney, you would be the person defending people who shoot in parks randomly, people who shoot into houses randomly. So me having to been on the other side and having had to use defense attorneys before, what is the answer? Like one side of me says punish, but the other side of me knows that punishment isn't always the solution. So we stuck at this thing. Do we lock them up? Mass incarceration. You shoot, you go, or what do you think would help society not to band-aid, but to fix this problem or help start mending or what?
Well, I do think that we do need to reform the criminal justice system overall, as far as the mass incarceration and different things of that nature. And I understand exactly what you mean. But there needs to be consequences for your action. And the system is set up and is designed that way. So if the state of Alabama convicts you, that's their job, to convict you of whatever that crime took place. It's my job to make sure you have fair representation.
Right.
So to make sure you're not being railroaded. So if they don't have any evidence, how can they convict you? If they don't have these different things, how can they convict you? And based upon the Constitution, that's your right, regardless of the crime that you committed. It can be as heinous, as egregious as they come. but you still deserve fair representation. So it's your job as an attorney to make sure that they're having fair representation, making sure that you're upholding every single thing, every single statute, every single law, case law, mandate, every policy. You make sure you're doing your job because it's incumbent upon the state to convict you, not the attorney, not the criminal defense attorney to do so. So my job is to represent you. And I'm gonna make sure that they do their job.
We appreciate that.
I got another question.
Oh yeah.
So
Let me ask
as a,
this one.
I see you got on A&M.
Oh
So
yeah,
you went
absolutely.
you went to A&M,
Alabama A&M
HBCU.
University.
So when you meet guys and young women or just adults in general who have committed crimes, do you find yourself going just a step beyond just being their attorney? Do you often offer some kind of
Oh yeah.
mentorship or
Yeah.
just you know?
Yeah, before I became an attorney, I was a teacher. I was a high school teacher and basketball coach.
Okay.
One of the things that I did often was, especially once I passed, I attended Miles Law School as well. So once I graduated from law school, I made it my business to go around to classrooms to talk, to have mentorships, to have internships in my law office. So it's all part of what we should do, and we should provide more information to allow and let these people know, like, look, this system is serious. It's real. When you're in this little cell and they shutting that door,
Mm-hmm.
it's real. The only person that coming and seeing you is me. Me. I'm the only person that can come into the room physically with you and sit here and talk with you after you've been locked in this cage in this box. So to me, avoid the criminal justice system at all costs.
Mhm.
Okay. Any other questions for our attorney guest? Or any comments or thoughts or feelings about that? I mean, it could be a heavy topic just because we know what we've been seeing over the past couple of years for
Yes.
us. Like, I mean, we've always seen it, but it seems like now it's always something that's a major case. Somebody's being killed, somebody's being mistreated, there's somebody being abused that is civil rights related, or
Yeah.
either it's criminal and civil rights.
Yes.
And you use one of the bigger examples with the George Floyd case, but then you think about the young man that was shot and paralyzed by officers. That's a civil rights case, and
Yes.
and I mean it was very criminal. And I guess my question before we go to break would be how how is it for an attorney to have to work against those who are called to serve and protect?
It's about doing your job. That's really what it comes down to, because everyone needs to be held accountable, period, regardless if you have on a badge, if you judge, it doesn't matter. You need to be held accountable for your actions, and if you do something wrong, trust me, we're coming for you. And that's how it should be, because trust me, if I did something wrong, I need to be held accountable. It's life. It's life. So I think that we lose that because we want to couch it by saying, it's a dangerous job. It was a dangerous job before you took it. You knew that going into it. But the military is a dangerous job. They have rules of engagement.
Mm-hmm.
Why the same thing don't apply here? So I don't want to hear the excuse it's a dangerous job. You knew it was a dangerous job. So the bottom line is you need to be held accountable for your actions.
Okay. And you ain't afraid to do that. So once again, your contact information so people can know how to find you.
Oh, yes. 205-216-3304, option 5. That's a number.
That's a good
Gotcha.
We
number.
well, I was a 4, so
Oh man, I almost made it. Golly, man. I tell you.
I think also we on all social media platforms, mxlawfirm.com. We on Facebook, Twitter, all of that stuff. So you can follow us and give me a call.
Okay. mxlawfirm.com. You all can get with attorney Ontario Tillman. And we're gonna bring you back.
Okay,
Take
cool.
you as well. Jam packed show tonight. We are celebrating 13 years. The marvelous Marlicia has joined us in this second hour. And Marlicia, I want to hear from you right quick. How long have you been a part of the show?
I think it is going on 3 years towards the end of this year.
Really? Like it for me, it seems like everybody's been around for a long, long time. That's just I don't know. I don't know. But I'm glad that you're a part of. Tegan, how long has it been for you? That's my girl. Like she be ready. Tegan, how long for you?
It'll be 8 months on the 30th.
Oh yes. Thank you, Tegan. I told y'all she's ready. All right, so we're gonna take another break, and coming up, we have the McClures, Roderick and Cara, two awesome people doing awesome things in the community and looking to help businesses. So everybody that's a part of our show, Cara and Roderick, are business owners. Everybody. So when you all come back, we'll be taking notes, and that'll be in just a minute, right here on V94.9 WATV.
You give my number, man. Give me a cell.
Is your hair dreaded?
And they don't really have no real reason. And it's like the city of Birmingham and the county just switched up. And it's like they say there's no need for it. And so my wife and I died. And so it's like if we don't do that at the house, you just send a letter saying we want to see the numbers you use.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you know I have a whole K through 12 curriculum. I have a K through 12 online curriculum.
Okay,
for financial literacy.
Courtney.
Courtney,
Jeter.
Jeter.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna get on that.
Come on. You.
Is anybody ready to jump
Hey,
out?
check your phone.
Let's see.
Tiffany just had to leave.
Hey, Dan.
I can hop out if needed. Well, I probably need to get this one fed. I said, check your text, your messages.
Oh, okay.
So this is Real Ready Radio. Everybody that's watching and listening, the McClures are in. Hello, you two.
Hey, what's going on? Woo.
Hey.
Congratulations, 13 years.
Thank you much. Thank you both so much. So we're coming live in about 1 minute.
I'll get your information.
1 minute.
I need an attorney for my dad.
Yeah, so we got the games. The game is spinning up, but adults can play too. We got the K through 12 curriculum. It's called Money Success for Kids. That'll be coming out at the end of May. And then we have a 9th through 12th grade planner book where they start at 9th grade and it teaches them about money and their goals, and they put everything down, and then by the time they get to 12th grade, they can see if it's different. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. All right.
We kind of try to start 12th going down. Come on. Huh? It's 50. No, you can. I wouldn't tell you. I wouldn't tell it like that. No. It's 50. They won't be ready until the 24th. They won't be ready till the 24th. But I can get your info.
Bye.
I'm just eating gum.
And now, V94.9 WATV is the station. You are listening to the Abby award-winning Vital Show right here on Sunday night. So every Sunday night, 7 p.m. for the past 13 years, we've been doing this show and just spreading a lot of awesome knowledge and introducing you to a lot of great people, giving you health tips, education. I mean, just everything. Everything you can think of, we've talked about it. And one of our dear friends, Cara McClure, is in, and her big brother, Roderick McClure, they're with us tonight. Thank you all so much for joining us and being so patient.
Thank you for having us.
Glad to be here.
I want to put y'all together, but I'm going to keep you on the sides like that. I think that's cool too. We're in between. Okay, cool. So I know during the break or before we went to, before we came to you guys, I said that you all were doing something for businesses. And I want to be very clear about what's happening. But before we get to that part, just tell us about who you are. Who are you? What do you do?
You want to go first, Roderick?
You go first, Cara.
All right. I'm Cara McClure. I'm the youngest of 6 McClures. incredible human beings, my siblings are. I'm an activist here in Birmingham, and I have a nonprofit called Faith and Works. And basically, we do civic engagement work. We believe in prayer, people, protest, policy, and pose. And we need all of those in order to build power. And so those are our 6 pillars, the 6 P's that we stand on. And we're so excited about the work that we're working towards to help support the frontline organizations and students here in Birmingham.
Those I like all of that. So the pillars that you all stand on, that's the family's motto or the family mantra.
Well, that's
Or is
my
that- or is that
organization's
the work?
my organization's pillars.
Okay, I'm like, dang, now I need to get like the McClures and okay, so we, we know about Faith and Works and what you do, and it does come from the family. Like you have that in you because of the family that you come from, so it means a lot, and it sounds about right that there would be a family thing. Mr. Roderick McClure, tell us about yourself.
So my name is Roderick McClure, and I'm from Birmingham. Originally grew up in Powderly, but I've been living in Atlanta over the last 35 plus years.
Okay.
And I'm a retired businessman, retired early, still a serial investor, philanthropist. And I just spend most of my time supporting nonprofit organizations, supporting a lot of local causes as well as global causes. And, my focus is just kind of helping the next generation. I do run a nonprofit that I started to help millennials and Gen Xers gain traction into corporate America. So, but I'm busy just pretty much helping the next generation and, traveling, enjoying life, and just trying to
Okay.
be a blessing to other people.
We appreciate it, and we need more people like you who don't mind giving back to us and sharing your knowledge. 35 years in
Right.
early retirement. I need to know what that's like. I need to know how that happens. So I think that's vital, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
Woo,
very.
he
Yes,
and Woo,
ma'am.
he's being so modest. I
Tell
mean,
us more.
my brother left Birmingham with $200,
Mm.
moved to Atlanta. He was working, and maybe I should let him share the story. But my brother was working in a hospital, buffing floors, and people was telling him, "Man, you don't want to quit that job. You don't want to give up your benefits, and and all that kind of stuff." And my brother left Birmingham with $200, and Rod, I just want you to share your story because it's so phenomenal, and we got young people on this call, and they need to hear your story.
Well,
Tell
Cara,
us
you
the
kind of
story, Uncle
put me
Rod.
on you put me on the spot this evening, Cara. But so I did left Atlanta, Birmingham with a couple of $100 seeking opportunities and moved to Atlanta. But after I moved into Atlanta, it was just time for me to go to work. So I worked really hard to gain traction into corporate America. And when the opportunities presented itself, I made sure that I was successful at every level. So I experienced a lot of success in corporate America. I made a lot of money. And after my venture was over and done in corporate America, I started my own business where I built a very successful business in Atlanta, and then I eventually sold it. Met my wife here in Atlanta, and we've been married for 33 years. But we set a goal at the beginning of our marriage, which was to be able to retire early and to build wealth. And so we put all the instruments and tools in place. We hit every metric that we set before us, every goal. We accomplished everything we sought to accomplish. Glory be to God, And so I have been able to build a very successful life over the years. It's a long story, but that's the short story.
We appreciate that, and then just when your relatives are proud of you and your work, to me that kind of proves a point in itself. A lot of people have relatives who don't even know what they do or what their story is, so that means a lot for your little sister to say, look, I want y'all to know this, know my brother's story. That's a big deal. So with that giving back, and I know COVID has taken a big toll. Well, first of all, let me point out a production thing. So I did get you guys lined up at the top. I got all the black at the top, all the yellow in the middle, and then the red at the bottom. So I just wanted to point that out because I was thinking, like, how can I get them side by side? Okay, so it's done.
Good
Let's
job.
get back to the show. Thank you, Unc. So, when you think about what COVID has done to small businesses and nonprofits, it has ripped a lot of us apart. But then for some, it's been a major blessing. Like this season has been great for a lot of business owners and nonprofits. But you all were moved to get out and help those who have served throughout the pandemic. And I want to hear more about it. What's going on? What can we expect from you all?
So
You want to take it away?
Cara and I, we had a conversation about the impact the virus has had on nonprofits, especially in Birmingham, and how it impacted their abilities to host fundraisers and to raise money. But yet at the same time, we recognize that they are the essential workers, the frontline workers in the communities. And we just felt like they deserve to be recognized. You know, they've been working through the pandemic as well as the tornadoes. And so Cara, who is passionate about serving the undeserved, you know, we had this conversation, and from there we just kind of came up with the idea of coming up with a plan to support the nonprofits. And we decided to provide stimulus checks for each of the nonprofits in the 9 districts. So we're giving $2,000 to nonprofits in each of the 9 districts in Birmingham, as well as we selecting, I think, 10 high school students to receive $1,000 scholarships, because we recognize that not only are the leaders of the nonprofits been impacted, but also their kids who are graduating from high school this year and prepared to attend college. So we're going to provide scholarships for the kids, as well as $2,000 stimulus checks for various nonprofits throughout the city of Birmingham.
I love it.
So we're going to give away up to $75,000 on April the 17th.
April 17th. So can people still apply for this? That is a big deal. So $2,000 stimulus checks.
Right.
I want that. We getting that STEMI in the form of $2,000. So what are the requirements? Like, how can we do that? How can we be a part of it?
Well, we had an application process. People went to www.payitforwardwithrod. That's what we're calling that day. Pay It Forward with Rod. And organizations were able to apply. We chose those organizations over the weekend, but they were able to apply. The deadline was on the 7th. And then the deadline for the students was Saturday, and those students have been chosen. But we put the information out there. And what I love about what my brother did, a lot of times people call elected officials, or they call someone else to choose organizations. But I believe that the answer to most problems can be found closest to those most impacted, right? And so I am a nonprofit, a small nonprofit here in Birmingham. So I was the best person to ask, how are nonprofits impacted? And fundraising was one way. And one of the things that we discovered is with nonprofits, when you apply for grants, those grants cover programs. They don't cover your operational expense a lot of times. And so so organizations have to fundraise for operational expenses. And what we found was a lot of the organizations that applied, no one is getting paid for the work. And so maybe some of that operational expense could help pay somebody for their labor. And also what we loved was that although the organizations were impacted in a hard way, they never stopped doing the work.
Yeah, and that's amazing.
And the work increased. I mean, the efforts, the love, the joy, the kindness increased in spite of. And that's inspiring in itself. And so my brother just wanted to do something. And y'all, I'm so proud of my siblings, but my brother Rod, this is not the first time that he's done this. He's donated, I know he donated over $100,000 to my nephew, Pastor Mike Jr., his church, the Christian Academy, I can't remember the name, Central Park, I believe. Yeah, he donated to the Winona Dragons when we found out that they didn't have uniforms. He bought all of the uniforms. Churches call him on a weekly basis for help, and he gives, but his giving across the country and he's very modest. I share the pictures because I'm like, this one of my siblings,
Right.
and I always say McClure's rock, but they won't show it because one thing we learned is that when you brag about your efforts, it's bragging. But when somebody else talk about what you've done, it's edification. So I'm always looking for opportunities to edify my siblings. And so his work across the country, y'all, I can show y'all pictures where people in Africa are sending pictures because they said $100 mean the world to them, but family after family after family are sending pictures saying no one has ever done anything for them and that they will be able to buy groceries and be able to get food for months at a time for one donation.
Mm-hmm.
And him and his wife started a clinic over in Africa, and I think they named either the clinic or part of the clinic after my sister Michelle, who died from AIDS. And so I think they helped build a clinic, or either they built the clinic. Right? You want to speak more on that?
Yeah, we support Heart for Africa in Swaziland, and so we help build a clinic over there, and then we do a lot of work in Zambia, where my goal is to reach the poorest people on the nation. So I have a partner over there, and I send him like thousands of dollars every month, and his job is to go around and to find a stranger, a poor stranger that's facing hardship, and to give them $100 without any questions, anything, around the spot. And so we've been able to touch a lot of people, and in return, I've received pictures. I hear the stories about some of the people that's receiving the money. For example, you may have people over there that's 65, 70 years old who have never, ever had $100 in their life. And so to receive the $100 like that has really just been amazing. And we just try to touch as many people as we can in some of the poorest parts of the world. At the same time, I don't forget my roots. I'm from Birmingham.
I was just gonna say, like, we think we have to go way across the world to find poor people or poor neighbors, and the people that we're friends with, the people that we go to church with, the people that are our family members are often in situations that we may not know about. So to have that relative that knows, like, hey, sometimes I have to look around in my own circle and see who's in need. And I'm so glad that you all thought about our community to do that. I'm hoping that you all were able to hear the first half of the show when we were talking about financial literacy and how important it is to teach our children about how to invest and how to save and how to, all of these different things. And I do want you to share, if you will, Mr. Roderick, about, you went to Atlanta with $200, but now you're able to send $2,000 and $2,000 and $20,000. Like, how does that happen? Like, what type of discipline does that take? What happened? How does this go?
Well, first of all, you have to get educated. I took a class over at Emory University on building wealth, financial wealth, on how to build wealth. And then, you have to initiate a plan. My wife and I, we had a goal from day one. We've been married 33 years, so this is not something that started overnight. And so by the time we were like 35, we already had become millionaires. And so, and over the years, our money have just compounded more and more and more. And I made a fortune during the Obama administration when everybody else was selling stock. I was in the business of buying and stock. And so the market has continued to grow over the years as well. So my money has compounded tremendously over the years. But you have to have a plan. You do have to have implement discipline, a disciplined lifestyle. I try to encourage people to maybe apply simple processes and procedures like the 80-10-10 rule, like maybe live off 80% of your income, invest 10% and save, tie the other 10% to the church, because you always want to give back to the ministries and everything. But it does require discipline. But even before then, you got to get educated on understanding compounding interest, how people build wealth, and how to manage your money and your income and everything.
Hope y'all taking notes.
I just want to add something that he didn't say.
Go on, add it, little sister.
My brother and really all of my siblings, his wife, if you look behind him, they read. Leaders are readers. And for every time he discovered a book or I discover a book or one of my siblings, we share that book with one another. But
Okay.
reading, to me, reading has been the key to our success. And I just want to say to my parents, my dad didn't finish high school, my mama did, but both of them was always somewhere reading, regardless. My mama was reading some and my dad was reading some. And so we really want to push reading. And I just really appreciate my siblings. And I want to say that, in front of everybody, because all that I hope to be, is a summation of all of my siblings. But my brother Rod has been committed to our family. And I remember years ago, Rod, we could be millionaires right now because my brother was on us to start portfolios early.
Okay.
And life just kept happening. But he always said, Cara, you got to start your portfolio. And Rod, you wrote me something about, I said, I want to be successful. And you wrote me those 8 keys to success. And they are those simple things that people don't even think about. And I was like, did he just tell me exercise, get plenty of sleep? And it was
A lot of
just,
times it's the simple things.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
living a successful life is more than about just building wealth. I like to apply the 4 L's to helping people living more of a holistic lifestyle that's centered around your faith, your family, your finances, and your fitness. And those are some metrics that everybody can use to measure themselves every year or to evaluate themselves to determine, how they are performing in each of those areas in your life. Because if you don't have a relationship with God, then it's going to be very difficult to experience the success or to believe that you can do all things through Him who strengthens you. And then, of course, the fitness. Okay, so if you're not taking care of your body, then you're not going to have the energy to want to read, to want to grow, to want to build, to want to have our ambitions and visions to build success. And then, of course, the finances. Once you get educated on how to build wealth, it's really not as difficult as most people believe it to be. It's just really having the drive, like Cara said, to want to read, to want to learn, to want to grow. I had that drive from day one. I was determined to be successful, and I was determined to be as successful as God wanted me to be. And I know there's no limits on how successful God wants us all to become. But we got to hunger for it, thirst for it, and then, of course, exercise the appropriate disciplines to accomplish that. But, when we talk about giving back, Powderly means everything to me. Every Thanksgiving, I give my hometown like 1,000 turkeys. Every Thanksgiving we give away 1,000 turkeys in the Powderly area. So to me, you just never forget where you come from, never forget your roots. And I don't care how much money I might have. My heart is still with my hometown people. And I do plan over the next 5 to 10 years to make some major investments in the Birmingham area.
Well, don't forget about me because I'm so inspired right now. I think I'm gonna start back exercising tomorrow because that is the F that I have neglected. Oh, the rest of them they doing okay. Blue, I know you started exercising and then your money started growing too, right?
Absolutely. And I'm sitting here saying, okay, I'm doing something right because I want to be a million. I'm gonna be a
So you're
millionaire.
equal, like
Hey,
you hear the drive.
you guys should join me. I'm a cyclist and I ride my bike about 150 miles a week. So
Nah,
when
Oh
next
I
time
got
I
a
yeah,
come to
bike.
okay.
Birmingham, next time I come to Birmingham, you guys get your bikes ready. Let's ride and we can talk about building wealth and everything.
Where we
I'm
gonna go,
down.
Uncle Rod? Like, what's the route?
I don't know about 150 miles, but I might can give you about 20.
I
I
can
rode
give
that
you about
bike one
6.
time, and I think I went a mile. I almost died.
I used
Look,
to
That's
do that.
100.
years
That's
ago.
150. That's 150 for the whole week. So it may be
Okay.
25 miles or
Okay.
20
Okay.
miles.
Okay.
Yeah,
To
he
kind of
live
get you
in
What kind of
familiar.
bike?
Atlanta. He rode
What kind
his
of bike
bike
do
to
you
the
ride?
Birmingham line.
Alabama line.
Oh.
Yeah, to the
Oh.
Alabama line. I couldn't believe it.
Me
Oh,
either.
is that trail that starts in Smyrna and goes all the way to
Yeah, yeah,
Jacksonville? Okay,
yeah. But
yeah.
see,
But you
but
can
see, I
stop.
like challenges, and I like
Okay.
to push myself, and I don't
Okay.
believe in
Well,
limits. And
Miss
so
McClure, my idea is that like I feel like I'm 43, finally in my life, I have gotten to that financial place that I wanted to be. And I'm like, I don't want to get to where I want to be, and then in a few years I'm on dialysis because I haven't taken care of myself, and I'm not able. I'm flying overseas, but I got to find a dialysis place. So I'm everything you're saying is, it's kind of it's
It's
reaffirming.
registering, right,
Yeah.
right.
So I'm with it.
So on the 17th is the big day where people find out who the winners are, who's going to get the STEMI for the small nonprofits and those who have struggled and continue to work during COVID. And then for those students as well. Where's the event going to be, Cara?
The event will take place. It's a small event
Okay.
with just the nonprofits. People can come if they want to, but we're going to be presenting big checks to all of the nonprofits, and they will be sharing what their organization do and how they impact the community. But also, we want to tell the community how they could participate in Pay It Forward with Rod on Saturday and all day Saturday. If you go in the McDonald's drive-through and you pay for somebody's food behind you and you take a picture or you talk about it on Facebook and you use hashtag Pay It Forward with Rod and your Cash App, then we may pay it forward back to you up to $2,000 for the whole weekend. Yep. Wow. So it's up to $2,000. We're paying it forward all weekend. So if you just use hashtag Pay It Forward with Rod, and on your Facebook page, you just say, "Hey, Rod, we paid it forward," and take a picture or either just tell us what you did. We're gonna search for hashtag Pay It Forward with Rod, and we'll be paying it forward to people all day because it's so much stuff happening in Birmingham right now, y'all, that's so depressing, and that we want to show some Black joy, Black kindness with Black dollars. And so that's what we'll be doing all weekend. If y'all want to ride y'all bike with my brother, he's gonna be here for a few days. He's gonna be riding with folks, and I'm telling you, he is driven. So this is what I'm going to do after we do Pay For It with Rod. I'm going to hide somewhere because I cannot keep up.
No, you're not. You're going to join us because you just.
I'm not getting on the bike.
Okay, so we'll find out where we meet, and I'll bring my bike. We gonna.
I'm hiding too. My knees too bad.
I'm driven. We're going. All right.
I'll do the driving. I'll pick y'all up.
What? Uncle Rod, how you feel about what you're hearing? Are we gonna get to be millionaires before we turn 40 if we hide from it?
Absolutely. Just put a plan in place. Set your goals. Believe that you can do all things, and of course you will. I'm believing that. And if there's anything I can do, I'm accessible. Hey, you guys can call me, pick my brains. It's amazing the number of people that won't ask other successful people what do they think. Simple question. What do you think?
I was gonna tell you, we were trying to come up with something for the end of March to talk about. Was it March? No, it's February. I wanted to close February out with a conversation with Black business leaders who have been really successful, and we were trying to think about who we could get, and we all kept naming the same people. It's like you don't even know who's really figured it out and who's successful because of whatever reason you don't. So for you to be willing to put it out there and not say, well, yeah, you got to come to this workshop and you got to pay this entry fee and you got to do it. Nah, like that's what keeps us away, not knowing who they are and then not knowing that they're willing to share it. So I really appreciate you and Cara just for, linking us all up for us to know that there is somebody who's willing to have the conversations, like really willing to pay it forward.
Hey, we all family. And we have to look out for one another. And it's not just about how many homes I can acquire, but how many people I can train or teach or encourage or inspire, to accomplish the same things. By adding more zeros to my net worth is cool, but seeing other people building success, accumulating wealth, getting smart, paying it forward, showing acts of kindness to other people is really what it's all about. That's where I get my joy from just creating smiles,
For sure. Well, thank you so much. Once again, the information for the event on the 17th.
can be found on my Facebook page. There's no website for it, but it's all over my Facebook page. Um, Cara McClure and Roderick McClure's page. And we may make a page on Facebook this week. So just look for Pay It Forward with Rod. And Saturday, y'all, let's show some acts of kindness towards one another. You know, there's been so much happening in our city, but on Saturday, if you go in the drive-through, if you help somebody with their groceries, but if you just whatever you do, like a young lady, I ordered some food from DoorDash Saturday, and I opened the door, and my DoorDash driver had her baby strapped to her, and when I opened the door, it shocked me, so I just stared for a few minutes, and then I was like, "Oh my God!" And I just stared at her, and then I said, "Can you give me your cash app?" And then as soon as she left, I cash apped her $100. And then she messaged me back and just was like, "You just don't even know." And then I said, "I do know. I was a single parent, so I do know." And you know, that's the way we want to be a blessing to people. Not You don't always have to do $100, but if you can do $5 or $10, pay for somebody food behind you in the drive-through, and just be a blessing. But start at home, because my brother, on any given morning, I can wake up and have $3,000 on my cash app. You know, I just said so many good things about him today. Ain't no telling what my cash app gonna look like in the morning.
That's what you've been doing, trying to butter Rod up. That's what you've been doing.
Rod,
I know how to get it.
Any day, brother.
I love it. Thank you all so much for your efforts paying it forward. I'm looking forward to this weekend. I'm looking forward to the 17th. I'm seriously thinking about looking forward to this bike ride. And if not the bike ride, just having you come and sit around and maybe we can break some kind of financial bread or just something. For sure.
Well, tell the young folks to come out and meet my brother Saturday, just to pique his brain, especially if you're in videography and film, because he did some reality TV shows. If you're trying to write a book, just come and ask him. You know, how did he amass millions? He's a multi-millionaire, and ask him some tips and about discipline. And I just want to leave people with two things. My brother says success is what you attract by the person you become. That means reading, that means following those principles. Another thing that my brother said is that when him and his wife set a goal when they first got married to retire at the age of 50, what I heard was that every step they took was in the direction of making that happen. Even with distractions, they stayed going towards retiring at a certain age, and that's what they did. And y'all, that's what we got to do. And I believe that we can have whatever we desire if we just follow those steps.
Cara, how much do I owe you for saying all these kind of things tonight?
Only 5,000.
She gonna pay it forward to me. POWT.
And then you gonna split it with me.
And I'm gonna split it with the crew.
Y'all don't play with us. Happy 13th birthday, Vital.
Happy birthday.
What a great gift. Like, you all have paid for it, just the great energy tonight. Like, you think about just how conversations about goals and conversations about motivation move people. Like, this is the type of energy that I love. This is what I need to make me say, you know what? Whoa, this is what you do. Like, what are you waiting on? Tay, you're another one that'll be like, well, got something for you. Let's work on this. I'm like, what you need. So, like, when you have people in your circle who stay on you and know what you're capable of and can, like, sow seeds into you and say, look, just listen to the show or just show up or just come through. It's everything. So this is amazing. And I hope somebody else was equally motivated like we are and looking forward to paying it forward on the 17th and all weekend. Uncle Rod, you want to leave us with anything before you go?
Hey, just stay positive, pay it forward, show acts of kindness to other people, and recognize that you've been blessed to be a blessing to others, and God will reward you in return.
Well, amen. Thank you so much. Cara, you may want to
I think Cara has said enough tonight for both of us.
Amen.
Look, Cara, you may want to hang around for this next conversation to end us out tonight. As you said, there's a lot going on in the city right now. And we know that we are all impacted. We're all trying to figure out what the solutions are. Like, what can we really do to make a difference in this city? How can we impact our young people? Because at this point, I don't know who has the answers. I don't know if anybody does. I don't know we're having the right conversation. So I said, well, how about we get started on the conversation tonight? So if you all want to stay in the conversation, Mr. Roderick, Cara, if you guys want to stay in, feel free to do so. But that's how we're going to end the show tonight for our last half. So we've always been a platform that talks about what's happening in our community and not just talking about it, but doing something about it, being active. And I want to have that conversation. So I want to say Friday night or Saturday night, 3 teenagers were shot in the Inslee area down in Tuxedo. So 3 teenagers shot in a drive-by. We know that last Sunday, Easter Sunday, a young lady was killed who was very impactful in the community. Her father was a pastor. She was very active in the church and in the community, in grad school, like doing something to better herself. And her life was stolen from her due to gun violence. Other children were shot in the park. And I'm just wondering, like, what do we do with that? Like, what is it that we do? What do we say? And what are your thoughts on it, more importantly? So that's where we're headed now for the last part of our show tonight. Ladies, what y'all think about what's happening? Like, it's a lot happening.
Mm, it is a lot happening. It isn't new stuff. Like, I just don't. I'm not shocked. I don't know. I don't know if they're sad, they're sad.
Right.
I'm just not shocked. I
Yeah.
think the only difference between what we're going through now and what it used to be is social media.
Yeah, for sure.
So we can see the happenings more quickly than we could years ago.
Okay. And I agree with that. And years ago, do we feel that those who were able to act acted? Did anything happen that made young people realize like this is not how you nothing happened? Look, it's
No.
everybody's like
You know
no.
what I believe? Talking from old gangster, uh, who done been in jail a lot of time. I feel like I had a foundation. So when you think about the prodigal son left and came back to the foundation that he had. So I feel like the kids don't have a foundation to, anything to turn back and come back to. And so they are left with to just deal with just violence and anger and frustration. When you got kids who've never been encouraged, who've never seen encouragement, who talk about going to other neighboring cities as if it's out of town, it lets you know that their perspective on life is very limited. And so, one of the things that frustrates me is when I see people who have common sense, people who have good judgment, expect other people who don't have that same kind of judgment to think like them. If you grew up with abuse and you seen your parents, your mother being beat by whoever, or you seen them fighting each other, then violence is the only thing you know to solve a problem. And so it's so many layers. And I think like I saw they said they closed the park earlier. The park is not the problem. I see on in national news they're making it harder to get guns. Last time I checked, the people who were committing crimes never committed a felony before in these mass shootings. They legitimately, legally went in and purchased a gun. And I think we just doing everything wrong. I feel like there should be more programs that catch children when they going from that elementary to middle school age to just entrench, and I mean just drown them with positive I want to say
Influence.
positiveness, influence, stuff that'll just because once they get to middle school and they gone, it's a wrap. Like it's over. So it's so many different layers. I think the only difference, because I mean I done got the shooting at Taco Bell and 5 Points right here at a car wash on a Saturday, broad daylight. I got the shooting at Jo at in Sim Block, Sim Pier in school, 15 shot. I let the whole clip. Nothing has changed for really. But what has changed is just the callousness. Like it's no callousness. And it goes all the way up to our elected leaders. When you hold people accountable, you speaking negative, you talking negative. And so I just think it's just like I used to think I had when I first got on the show, I felt like I had all the answer to the crime. But now when you really care about it, it's draining,
Mm-hmm.
it's frustrating, it's
Mm-hmm.
depressing. And so
And that's why I wanted Cara to stay because I mean this is a conversation that we've been sitting at round tables about forever. Courtney just said it, like we've been fighting this fight forever, and even with the fight looking different years ago when it was, I guess, civil rights fights, there was still room for what we see now. I'm quite sure there were some rogue people still doing other things then, but Blue, my mind goes to what to asking you, if you had a firm foundation, you came from people who cared about you, you came from a family of people that you knew your daddy, you knew your mama, you could have gone home, you had hot meals, you had what you needed. Why the hell were you acting a fool?
It was fun.
It was fun. So like if I say and I ask the same questions to a young person now, what the hell makes you think that you should shoot into an occupied dwelling or into a park? Is it fun or are you really mad at the person that you're shooting at? I'm getting psychological at this point. Like, what are we thinking about?
Now, I believe in that case, for me, I was in that environment for so long till I became a product of it. I started having that same kind of anger and rage, but they've had it since birth. I didn't come from a poor family. I didn't come not. I became poor when I left my family, and so it's like um, it's just like it's just I don't know, man. It's like I be trying to philosophize about it, but it's like when you pull your one layer back, now you got another one. So you're like,
Yeah.
okay, what about this? And I mean, we've worked in the same place dealing with the people, and some of them are so they so enamored with it they don't even know
That's
how to come
life.
out. That's
That's
life.
life.
That's
Well,
it.
so here's my thing with that, Blue. So I'm totally different from Blue, where I came from a poor family.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was really abusive. And my surroundings was just totally jacked up. But I never wanted to become a product of my environment. And I know so many people who are around me, where their situations were the same. Some people came out, some people didn't. So I just can't understand, for me, why do you have to become a product of what surrounds you?
I don't think you got a choice.
Why
It's a
not?
catch
If you
22.
walk into a room and it smell like smoke, then when you walk out, you gonna what? You gonna
Oh,
smell like
Smell like
smoke.
smoke. Yep.
yeah,
You know
you're
what I'm
gonna smell
saying?
like
So
smoke, but I just don't feel like I said, that's the environment that I came from. So I don't feel like you necessarily have to adapt to that.
but some
But
people do.
And some people do.
yeah.
Some people do, some people
and,
don't.
and so this is where the problem comes. The people who are put in the positions that can possibly make change don't understand or can't understand why people have the thought process that they do.
Yeah.
But think about this. So you got two people that grew up in the same household, and the house is so nasty. The house nasty, is roaches, it's
Mm-hmm.
horrible. One person gonna come out and the house, they house is totally clean, it's spotless.
I
They got
don't want to live
OCD.
like that,
Then you
right?
got the other one, they house is just as nasty. So it just really depends on that person
On the
too.
choices that you make, right?
And I mean, so we peeling layers. We,
It's
we,
Yes,
it's
we
all
peeling
about the
those
layers.
layers. You peeling
Cara
layers.
McClure, this is a part of the conversation and a part of the work that you do, and you sit in on these different situations. What are your thoughts? And then, Sin, I want to hear from you as well. LaCara's like, let me think about it because this thing is difficult, right?
She muted.
Mm-hmm. And Jacinta, like, if you
Oh,
are, yeah, unmute.
I think with society today, a lot of kids just do it for popularity, just to be famous. A lot of these kids, when they get on here and they commit these crimes, their peers are cheering them on. They're like, yeah, I'm supporting you. I'm with you. Let them free. So it's like a popularity. I want to be famous. I want to be seen. I want attention type of thing with a lot of these kids. They don't know what they're really getting themselves into. But with social media and these rappers that get on here talking about their life that never experienced it, but
That's
don't reach
that's a
out to them and say, hey, don't do this, that creates a big problem too.
so check
And
this out. We in the crew, right? We together,
Uh-huh.
right? When we talk to each other and we on the group me, we encourage each other, right?
Mhm.
But we encourage each other with positive stuff because we're doing positive stuff.
Yeah.
So with them, that's all they have. That's all they know.
It's the
So
other
that's the
stuff.
only way. It's kind of like you buy whatever you want when you get ready because you have it.
Mhm.
They get it in spurts or never had it. And so they just feel like they can just take it. And they never think about the ramifications and what it's doing to other people. And so it becomes a norm. And so they encourage each other to where it's about the cream.
Okay,
I'm a
so but
big
here's the
stepper.
thing with that though, Blue. So when you think about the kids who are committing these crimes, or well, let's stick with the kids who are committing these crimes. So many times, or oftentimes, you hear from adults, let's say teachers, neighbors, maybe even people that they go to church with, they have stated, well, he just never appeared to be this way, or he didn't come from this kind of family. Or sometimes it's even the families, the parents saying, well, I didn't know that my baby was into this type of stuff because that's not how we raised them. All the times these kids or that's doing this stuff, they don't come from these messed up families and environments. Now I know that's easier said than, like looked at all the time, but that's not always the case. These kids not always messed up.
Right.
I mean, it's just
And
Hold on, let Kara jump in, y'all. Go
go ahead.
ahead.
I was just going to add, when my son was, he just walked in the room, so I want to be careful. But when my son was in middle school, I just have to be honest and say he drove me to my knees. His acts drove me to my knees. But I this sort of conversation kind of scared me because of things that I did as a mother. I don't know if I would be telling folks. I don't want folks to think I'm saying quit your job or do this. I'm just saying what I did as a mom. When my son teacher called me and I couldn't leave my job to take care of my child, I went to my desk and I wrote my letter. I'm out. I didn't put a bill before my son. I didn't put my car note, my rent, or nothing. In my mind, this is my child and I got to save him. And I don't we were homeless for a little while. We slept on folks' floors, but he was with me. I was able to see. Then when we found us a place to live again, I started cooking pancakes in my house and I said, I want you to invite your friends to our house once a week for breakfast. Cause I figured that was the only way I would know who his friends are. I was just a radical parent. I was as gangster as a mom as I am gangster in activism. And I just fought for my child. I no job was going to tell me that I couldn't leave to go see about my son. So I made sure that I was available at all times to be at his school, to be in his face. And he drove me to my knees. And I remember one day I was like, God, I went and bought this book called The Power of a Praying Parent. And I started reading those prayers. And I tell you, each day was a different prayer. One day, Brandon walked in the house in the 8th grade and said, Mama, I'm finna do a transformation. And I said, okay, you need my help. And I tried to be calm, but when he left out that room, I was shouting. And and it's still, and we still live together. I love my son, but I will do anything to save my child. And so I do believe that the answer to most problems can be found closest to those most impacted. So I even met with some women yesterday, Friday, so we can start talking about things that we can do from community to community. But I told them it's hard for me to sit at a table with privilege and not have the folks most impacted at the table. I said,
I think that's it. I think that's it right there.
That's
because our
Birmingham
job
Power.
is not to tell them what they need to do, but to listen to them. And then me as an organizer in the city, I will help organize whatever they need. But I'm not finna go in their community saying, you this. And when after that shooting at Patton Park, every live I saw was some man pointing a finger at a single mom. If somebody wasn't pointing the finger at us saying we need to do this and that, then it was somebody pointing the finger at pastors. And they were pointing the finger at this and that. And I don't know what to do right now. I just know what not to do. It's not time to point fingers. It's time to build allyship. The pastors, the activists, the organizers, the parents, the men, the women, the single parents. It's time for us to build allyship, come to the table and talk about from community to community, what can we do?
I love it. I love everything you just said. Something about what you just said reminds me of what I woke up thinking today. Maybe yesterday, one of these days. And I was just thinking about what if I had a building? I've seen so many people get these buildings. Oh, it was definitely this morning because I was watching the video from the brunch and I looked at Eric Wynn and his shirt and it says we're all related. And I'm thinking like now a building somewhere where people could come that's not, I don't really necessarily need a ribbon cutting and all this type of stuff, but it's not really programming, but it's a safe space for those who are the ones that put us in harm's way. Not the Dannon Project, no, not that type of situation, but a space, a building
Yeah.
that these people can resort to and we can make them feel at home. Warm meals, just conversation. Come and kick it. That's simply
But
what I thought.
yeah, and where they can talk,
That part,
because
the main part.
we really need to think about the trauma that we've been through as a community. And it's piled on stressors,
Right.
piled on trauma with nobody to talk to. And then when we think about, you know, I'm very careful who I be around because I'm not finna talk about our children in a negative way. I don't care what.
Right.
I'm not finna say y'all stupid, y'all bad, y'all this. That's just not how I'm built to talk.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't use the term black on black crime. I use localized. The crime
Mm-hmm.
in the community, because the media don't need our help in how we talk about our children. And I'm not finna help them out. And so we need to be very careful in how we describe our children. We need to call them higher. And I know when I drove, when I drive, when you remember when we said success is what you attract by the person you become.
Right.
We need to think about as a child walks to school or as he's on the bus, what do that
What do they
person
see?
see? And
Absolutely.
I suggested, to some city council that each school route need to be a path to success. Like while they drive, sort of like the Civil Rights Institute, how you take the
Mm-hmm.
tour and you can read positive things. Well, the route to school should be like that too, where they don't see drugs or needles, they don't see liquor stores, but they see signs that say you're this, you're excellent, you can succeed. All the way to school, path to school, and so and yeah, we can't, even though we're friends with leadership, we can't be afraid to say maybe we have some failed leadership,
Yeah.
because the speed of the leader determines the speed of the pack. And so maybe there's something wrong with leadership somewhere, and we can still love the people, but we
Absolutely.
can't be able to. We got to be able to analyze or assess that the last mayor was maybe criticized for crime. Well, it hadn't gone down under this one. And I'm not saying it's his fault. I'm just saying we have flawed leadership. And I'm not talking just about the mayor. I'm talking about overall.
Yeah, like leadership, period. And I agree with you because, like, I think the one thing that we can all agree on is that our leadership, we put our leadership in place. Like, we decide who they'll be and why, what they say when they're running that makes us feel like that's who we need. But then I'm like, even when we have these conversations with leadership, I don't know that they have the solutions
I just feel like they always put people
after
who either
politics.
have been who, even if they come, they feel like just because they came from West End or came from Ensley, it makes them qualified. And that may be true, but there's a word I call disconnected.
Mhm.
And
For sure.
success can cause you to be disconnected sometimes because it changed your mindset. And
Yeah,
so it's like we have people in positions that are very critical that are disconnected. And when they're disconnected, when you're disconnected to the power source, you have no power. And so I just, and it's so much money out here. It's so much resources that can be funneled and channeled into helping these kids do stuff. And it's still enough for the people to have they whatever VIP stuff. It's like it's enough for everybody. And having worked in politics and see the amount of money that comes through, having to pay city taxes every month on the 20th, you be like, man, come on. Like you
yeah,
can't tell me that this like certain things can't be in place.
right. And
It's
we have
just
to make sure vital services are not defunded. Our
Mhm.
community need mental health. We need, it's certain, you cannot take money away from social services. Our communities
You can't.
thrive
Yeah.
off of those things: education and mental health. A city like Birmingham, must have money in those services.
Right.
You know one thing I saw that got me so excited? I read an article last night. So you know they changing the location of Medical West in Bessemer, right? So they're gonna put the new hospital in McClure.
Uh-huh.
So you know they got this big building sitting right there in Bessemer. So they were talking about what they were gonna do with it. They're gonna make it a mental health. They in the works of making it a mental health hospital. That big
Mhm.
hospital. So I got excited about that because that's a huge hospital that would just focus on mental health. Because I mean, it ain't no secret. I suffer from I have to get help mentally, so I won't, you know what I'm saying, be on the
Where
news.
do mental health patients go now? I was having this conversation with a friend of mine
Mhm.
whose daughter had some mental health issues, and she had to like let her go. So we were talking about her daughter potentially coming back, and it can't happen right now. But once she ages out and she
Mhm.
no longer qualifies for the services that children qualify for under Medicaid and different things of that nature, where do kids like that go?
Right.
So so there are places that there are Alabama clinical schools and other places where, so let's start here, not just children but people period. As a
People.
mental
Yeah.
health professional and having to make referrals when I know that it's nothing that I can say or nothing, no skills, no tips that I can share. Like this is a bigger issue where medicine needs to be involved and other, other things need to take place. The system is so flawed. Like even getting somebody immediate emergency care. Like this person is having a mental break. A mental break can look like delusions and hallucinations. And if they're not a harm to themselves or to others, you get shrugs. You get shrugs. If I can go into UAB and say that, hey, yeah, I'm not a harm to myself. I didn't say anything like that. And I'm schizophrenic, I'm paranoid, I'm hallucinating, I'm experiencing psychosis. They will let me go. And then I'm back on the streets or I'm on the streets or my family can't tend to me. So the mental health system is definitely in need of a lot of support. A lot of
Yeah.
support. And it makes us as professionals look as if, well, what you gonna do? What can we do? I don't have that building I just asked for. We
What
don't have the support that we need.
well, first we could start by just normalizing it.
That
Just
part.
we could
That is
start
true.
with, I had on a shirt yesterday, day before yesterday, that said my mental health matters. And I decided to not be afraid to go on Facebook a couple of days ago and just say, hey, I've been feeling weird and I'm looking for a black therapist. And
Mhm.
someone hit my inbox real quick. You need to call Woo. And yeah, but I'm saying we need to normalize. Like, I want to talk about it. I want to I want to film myself, just
For
talking to
sure.
somebody. And then maybe we can have some mock. I mean, but we need to really come together and talk
And
about how
normalize.
can we have some of these sessions in the community. Like the community center have a person that you can just go talk to. Maybe we can have brunch, do a brunch tour from community to community and have someone there that people can sit in and talk to, or can schedule a Zoom with to talk to,
Mhm.
because I'm standing in the need of someone to talk to. So just think about, and I'm blessed and highly favored. So just think about those folks who may be going through, may have it a
Exactly.
little tougher than me. And so
Yeah.
we need to normalize it. And we need to, I remember when I was younger, when I first started working at the bank and with all these white women, they would say,
Mhm.
oh, I can't come tomorrow because I got an appointment with my therapist. We never had discussions
Like,
like
what
that
are
in
you
our
talking
community.
about? Right, until now. So now we're having those conversations, and I'm glad that it ended up at this point tonight. This is a good stopping point. But when you think about our young people and how it's cool for us to have a therapist, it's cool for us to have an accountant, it's cool for us to do brunch, it's cool. Like the things that we were not accustomed to and that you all did not know about, those are normal things now. Oh, we do that. Oh, we have name brand this and we go to this place over like these things are normal for us. So if we could normalize normal and normalize okay, normalize solid, I think our young people would then get the message that what that is that you're doing, that's not normal. We have to love each other. We have to hug each other. We have to have communication, know how to talk to each other. That's normal. That's normal. I may have a problem with Jeter, and I just don't see myself driving by her house and shooting it up.
No, now.
I just don't see
She
it.
shooting back. You know she ghetto.
But that's kind of how it goes, right? I
Yeah.
shoot at her house, she shoot back at mine. We shoot until somebody gets shot.
Yeah.
Like, no, we're gonna have a conversation. We're gonna sit down. We get a mediator. We whatever it is that we need to do. So how do we make this make sense? We've been talking about it for 13 years on the radio, Cara. 13 years.
Wow.
Tonight is no different. We're still talking about it. But at some point, we do want to see some type of changes being made. And I know that the change
Yeah.
starts with us, but wow, it's got to be bigger than that. So
But I
I
don't
enjoyed
want us to
y'all.
take away all of their fun though, because I
That
advocate
either.
like the stuff that we saw the rough DMX Rough Rider anthem
Yes.
with all the bikes. I crave for the young folks to experience the way we did. I'm talking
Yeah.
about we felt carefree. I'm talking about I want them to have Freaknik.
Yeah.
I want them
Foot wash.
Oh,
I
Lord.
want them to be able to burn out. But
We grew up for it.
every time they having fun, someone, they stop, the bikers can't do nothing. And
Yeah.
there's nowhere to go, and the gym we can't take away all of the gyms for them that, we can't just say you can't do nothing.
We can't stop life to try to find solutions. We can't. We can't. And same for us as older adults. We cannot stop living because we're in fear of being shot or being like that ain't how you live. That is not living.
Right.
Thank you so much to everybody for joining in the conversation tonight. You know, this is just the show, but after the show is always the after party and real life. So we're going to get to both of those really, really soon. Real life continues as soon as we log off of these mics. So if you want to continue this conversation, always inbox me, inbox anybody on the show, and let's continue the conversation so that we can get to work. Shouts out to Tae. Shouts out to Ontario and Takara and Roderick for joining us tonight. To all of our crew members, thank you so much for being a part of the Abby Award winning only show of its kind, Vital. And we'll continue this on next Sunday at 7 p.m. right here on B94.9 WATV. Y'all have an awesome night and an amazing week. I'll talk to you in the morning at 10 for Lady Woo's Midday Feng Shui. Y'all have an awesome night. Be blessed. Be vital. Bye, everyone.